Hello beautiful people and welcome to my channel. My name's Jennifer Diamond. I live a whole food, plant exclusive, sofas free lifestyle for health and well-being. And today I'm going to try to make a new dish. It's called cauliflower turmeric soup. So I just got this recipe ebook, and it's an Indian cookbook, and it's from another Instagram person, and her name is Broccoli Mum, and I will link in the show notes if you want to check out her recipe cookbook. I just recently purchased it, and I was really interested in checking out, you know, different ways to make Indian food, and especially a whole food plant-based way. So I thought, you want to come and check this out with me? So anyways, I'm going to start with a non-stick cooking pan right here, which is on and it's getting hot. And we have our ingredients here. We have onion, potato, cauliflower, and all kinds of spices. So the first thing I'm going to put in here is the onion and the garlic and ginger with a little splash of water. Now, I already measured and pre-chopped everything. I just wanted to tell you, I had this huge onion, and so this is actually half of the huge onion that I already had cut up. So I was able to chop it up, and it equals a regular medium-sized onion. And then I went ahead and have the garlic minced and the ginger. I purchased ginger that's fresh, and so that's what that is, but this is what it looks like if you're unfamiliar with the ginger in its whole form. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put this aside and start adding our ingredients, and in go all the onion. Every last piece of onion that I can find goes in, and then the ginger and the garlic. And I'm gonna turn the flame down. I had it up high to heat the pan, but now I don't want it to burn, so I'm turning it down and just giving the onions an extra minute ahead. There we go. And now I'm gonna add in the rest of this ginger and garlic. I mean, I love onion, ginger, garlic, and even mushrooms, which isn't in this recipe, but any combination of any of those are just so wonderful, and especially when the scents start kicking in. They're just amazing. So I'm going to just let that sit for a minute, and let's see what else we're going to do. So we're just going to saute that for a few minutes. And we want to try to get the onions to be translucent, so not necessarily browned, although if they do brown a little bit, I wouldn't worry about it. But the idea is just to kind of get them a little bit translucent, see-through, and just kind of less raw, I guess. So once we have that done, we are going to start to get ready to stir in our seasonings. And I went ahead already and created the seasonings here that are called for on the recipe, and I'll go over them with you. Turmeric, which I have fresh turmeric, and so I would normally opt to use fresh turmeric, but for whatever reason I grabbed this, so I just went with that. And then coriander, and also some ground cumin. Those three are definitely in here. And then it also called for garma masala. And I don't have any right now. I mean, I was at the store yesterday and I meant to get it, but so I looked up what is a good substitute, and then I looked to see what I had of those substitutes, and I'm going to put in what I have. So my point here is, if you don't have it exactly I think it's all right. And so it called for black peppercorns. I have a little bit of pink peppercorns, so I threw those in. And some, this is curry powder, and this is a salt-free, so I threw that in, and I also added some allspice. So that is everything that's in here, and I'm gonna take a look at this. Just make sure to give it a nice stir again, softening up nicely. And I just stirred it up. There you go. It smells yummy. And the flame is very low. Now I also want to kind of spread it out in the pan as evenly as I can. So I just moved it around a little bit from what you saw. And I'm just going to give that a couple more minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the spices over here because they're going to be mixed in next. And then we're going to let it cook for another 2 minutes. So I just want to tell you, cauliflower is going to be the next thing that we add in here. And it called for a whole cauliflower. It's not an exact measurement. So what does that mean? Cauliflower, sometimes I buy big heads, sometimes I buy smaller heads. And so I actually had a smaller head. I'm going to show it to you. I have this organic head, and I had this left over from another dish, sort of chopped up. I needed to chop it up more, and I thought, how do I know if this is enough? So I opened this one up. I cut away, you know, the bottom part and the green part, and I weighed it just to get an idea. How much does a small cauliflower weigh? And then I went ahead and weighed what I had. And it was basically the same thing. So if I had a larger cauliflower, of course, this would not be enough. But the point is, if you have leftovers, like I'm really trying to work on using what I have to be successful and just adding in things as I need them. And then we'll be ready for the next thing, which is going to be to add the cauliflower. And I have one medium-sized potato here. This potato I just chopped up. It was a yellow organic potato, and it has the very thin skin on it, which I left. You could use a Yukon Gold or any other potato, even a red potato. The thing about leaving the skin on when you have colored potatoes like a red one, then later it might change the color of the end, the soup color, for presentation sake. But if that's all you have, use it. You know, russet has a thicker skin. You could use that too, but for the color, maybe you would want to peel it. I don't want to peel mine, so I'm going to bring these and move them over here. So I also am going to have to add some either water or veggie broth. And I recently made some homemade veggie broth, and it calls for just enough of one of the packs that I have. So I'm going to show you. I've been having it here in the sink thawing, and it still has some pieces of ice in it. I'm going to just throw it in there. It'll warm up. So I'm going to cut this open. Have that ready to go. We got about 1 more minute. And I put it in this glass jar just because I don't want it to topple over while we're waiting to pour it. Now, the recipe also calls for adding in coconut milk. Coconut milk, let's see if it says light coconut milk, and it also is an option. I personally, there was a time several years ago when I was playing around with coconut milk, and for me, I decided not to use it anymore because of the saturated fat in it. For me, it I think contributed to part of my triglycerides going up and my cholesterol. So I got rid of it, and it only helped me. But I was in the freezer because I'm really trying hard to use, like I mentioned earlier, use what I have. And I also want to rotate things and use up things that I've had in the freezer. And I found some frozen light coconut milk. Oh my gosh, I had them in little cubes, like ice cube trays, and so they're about a tablespoon each. And I thought, I don't want to throw it out, but I don't want to eat it. So what I ultimately ended up doing was I thawed half of it, and I decided, I mixed it up because it kind of separated, and I decided as a treat I was going to try it in this recipe, and so I have it already measured out here. I also am not planning on eating this whole thing. I think that Todd will hopefully try it, and if for some reason he doesn't want it, then maybe I would spread it out and save it for, you know, half for another week or something, and I could freeze it or I could keep it just to spread it out for that reason. I am not, at this time, I mean, you never know, I'm not planning on buying coconut milk. For me, at this point, I'm only using it because, like I said, I have it, and it's a small amount. So let's take a peek. Oh, this looks good. This looks good. I'm going to show you this before we add everything. If you love coconut milk and that's something that you're okay with, you know, it is an option, you know, listed as an optional thing. If you don't want it, don't add it. You don't need it. I mean, you can, this would be perfectly fine without it. And like I said, if I didn't have this, if I hadn't stumbled across it, I wouldn't add it. All right, so here we go. Check that out. It's about 2 minutes with all the spices. It looks nice and browned up. It's not burnt. There's nothing sticking to the bottom. And so I'm going to go ahead now and add our cauliflower. That looks so amazing. And I'm going to add the potatoes. Okay, and if you didn't have veggie broth, you know, water is what you can use. If you want to buy store-bought veggie broth and you don't have any, I would, for me personally, I wouldn't use anything that had salt, oil, or sugar in it. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this in there and make sure. Even the pieces of ice, because it'll melt. And then it says if you're going to use the coconut milk, put it in now. And gosh, you know, this is one of those things, like, I don't want to mess up my progress. I don't have the packaging to read what's in it, but I think what I'll do is add half instead of this whole amount, just because I have it. So I'm gonna just add half. I kind of would like to see that coconut, you know, what it does. I mean, that's the coconut flavor that it might provide, and it's just a small amount. So, you know, we're all on this journey at different places doing our best, and so that's right now what I just decided to do. Now, I want to show you, and then we're gonna let it cook for a little bit. Here you go. So yes, mine has pieces of frozen ice in it from the veggie broth, and you can see everything else is all kind of mixed in, and it looks pretty good. My veggie broth was homemade, and it has kind of a purplish color to it, so that may affect everything. But so let's see, we're gonna cover and we're gonna let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will be back. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will be notified when I go live or post new videos. Hit the like button and let me know that you're enjoying the content. Also, if you have anything you'd like to share with me, go ahead and post it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. You know, have you made Indian cuisine at all? What's your favorite? Do you only eat it at restaurants? Maybe you've grown up and you know all about it and you can give me insight, tips, or tricks. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you. Look at this. Wow. Let's see. I always want to scooch this closer so you can see better. Let's see if I can. There you go. Look at that. Nice, huh? So the next thing that we need to do is blend it up. It's supposed to be a blended soup, and I'm just going to bring it a little closer to me. You could blend it up a few different ways. If I'm going to use an immersion blender, which just goes together like this, and I'm gonna plug it in, and we're just gonna, it'll mix it up. Another way that you could blend it is if you have a blender, high-speed blender, you could gently with a ladle, you know, just scoop it into here. It's really hot right now, so you don't want to be burned, but this would work. And that's the two ways that I would do it, that I have done it. So let me plug this in and get us going. Okay, so I am going to just gently do this. Wow. I'm gonna say that is pretty blended. Let me unplug it. Yum, yum, looks good. And I'm just gonna, sometimes I like to scrape off the top if it looks like there's some, you know, stuff. I worked so hard to get this, I don't wanna leave it on the equipment. So let me put this aside. All right, so a few things I would like to talk about in order to get this ready to serve up and taste. I'm gonna put it right there and bring over this bowl. And this has a few things in it. So let's just take it out. Now, the recipe says to go ahead and serve it in your serving bowl. Oh man, that looks so good to me. What do you think, guys? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze this in just like that. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And then it calls for some yogurt, dairy-free yogurt. And I typically don't eat yogurt. Even the dairy-free ones, they've got a lot of stuff in them. It's just something that I've gotten away from. And so because of this, I was thinking, okay, I've heard about people making yogurt with an Instant Pot, and I have an Instant Pot. And so I thought I was gonna do that, but I couldn't find the two ingredients that for the recipe that I was looking at my local store, so I would have to order it, and I wanted to make this. So what I did in this case was I found this brand called Colina. Here it is. And it's a dairy-free yogurt made with organic coconut. Again, I tend not to go with coconut because of the saturated fat. I do, however, drink coconut water, which is totally different. But anyways, I'm just gonna tear it open, and I'm gonna take a little spoonful of this, and I guess I'll just try to see if I can kind of, oh yeah, look at that, kind of drip it in here and maybe swirl it in here just to get a little pretty design. So this is kind of a treat for me, you know. I'd be fine not to put this in, but I thought it would be fun to do the recipe the way the recipe is written. And, you know, anyways, so if you don't want to do this part, just skip it. So I'm going to put this aside. Okay, and then the last thing is it calls for something it's like a black cumin. And I, again, didn't get a chance to get any. For presentation, I thought that I would just sprinkle some black sesame seeds. But black sesame seeds and black cumin are very different. I learned on Dr. Greger's nutritionalfacts.org about a little bit about black cumin, and what it's really called is I think it's pronounced Nigella seed. I apologize if that's incorrect, but the benefits of that seed is weight loss, lowering blood pressure, blood sugar, And so there is a benefit. But what strikes me as odd is that you're adding this seed that's supposed to have these, benefits to help lower triglycerides and blood pressure and cholesterol and help with weight loss, but we just added in coconut milk. So I don't know. If you know about a black cumin, please let me know. But right now, this is our finished product. And I am going to grab a spoon and taste it with you. So here we go. All right. Here we go. I want to get a little bit of everything. Oh. Wow. The flavors are more mild than the scent was. I was expecting a very powerful flavor because the cumin and the coriander, they're very strong scents, but it's not. And with the lemon and even the little bit of dairy-free yogurt in here, it kind of complements each other beautifully. So this does have a little bit still of the cauliflower and onion and stuff. It's not 100% blended, which I was kind of hoping for. So I did get a little crunch, but yum. It's very soothing. And then it's got that lemon at the end. So I wonder, had I had the lime that it really called for, what that would taste like. And I've never had the black cumin seed, so I'm not sure if that would change anything, but in the future, I hope to get it and try it with you. Thank you so much. This is great. I think this is a wonderful, easy way to try an Indian dish, and it's very soothing and delicious. I think I'm going to pair it with a salad and maybe a piece of fruit like an apple. But for now, oh my gosh, it just feels so good going down. For now, I think I'm just going to eat this. So thank you, and you guys take care. Don't forget to eat your greens, and I appreciate your time together. Don't forget, hit the like button. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.